So after catching up with another couple of mates around Brisbane, it was time to head south for us. Yeah, we just had the best weekend in Brisbane. Fucking really insane. It was so good to see all the picker Maoris out together having a ride with us. But yeah, had an awesome weekend. Stayed with Dave and Helen. Dave came out for a ride with us. We ended up with 9 bikes riding all around the mountains yesterday. And Blair, he always just puts it on so well. Him and Nev, they're fucking great, eh? And catching up with everyone. Caught up with the people that came for a ride with me when I was up on my way up to Moranbah. When Owen came up to buy the bike and my tyre was shitting itself, and they come for a ride to keep me company, make sure I didn't break down. It was good to catch up with them. We caught up with my cousin Lewis on the way out of town, and so fuck off. We're in Mullumbimby. Like happy fucking heaven. It's Monday night, for fuck's sake. Go to bed, you fuckers. Anyway, we thought it'd be fun to come up here, but we're still in camping mode, so the sun goes down, we want to go to bed. But we're having a cigar. There's a cigar moment. We just crossed another border. We're in New South Wales now, in Mullumbimby, and we're getting closer and closer. Or it's always going to be a shame, but fuck, it was an incredible weekend. Everybody turned up and just put it on. We felt so, it was overwhelming, really. It was overwhelming, man. It was great. After saying goodbye to Queensland and all our mates, we headed down across the border and well, spent the night in Mullumbimby, and then we had to wind our way back down the hills through the rainforest, back out onto the freeway and head south. The next stop, we had a lot to do the next couple of days. There was a lot of things we wanted to see, so but our next stop was Waterfall Way, which is this is heading up there now, and it's you turn off about 40 kilometres south of Coffs Harbour, and it winds up through the mountains all the way to Armidale, up in central New South Wales. We went about 40 or 50 minutes up there. Just wanted to go up to show Owen some of the waterfalls that run down underneath the road and come out the other side. It's really cool, and it's awesome riding road, really nice windy road. It's a great place. Get up there, and there's a couple of good little towns up there, and plenty of accommodation. And if you want to keep going, you can go all the way right up through to Armidale, and then down through Tamworth, and come back out around Newcastle if you want to. But we just spent about an hour and a half or something going up there, riding up and riding down, and just having a bit of a look around. I wanted to show Owen. It's one of my favourite roads. Yeah, the waterfalls look great when you ride over them. So we, after we went up there, we headed down towards Newcastle. We had more old friends and family to catch up with, and caught up with my cousin Dale, and then we caught up with an old schoolmate, Dave, just south of Newcastle, and stayed with an old mate, Karen, in Gosford. Spent the night there, and then the next day it was into Sydney. We had there's a lot of things to look at too, a lot of things we wanted to see. I wanted to take Owen up to the Blue Mountains, up to the lookout at Katoomba, and show him what it was like up there. So we scooted up the Blue Mountains for a couple of hours and had a bit of a look. Then it was back down to Sydney and caught up with one of my kids who lives in Sydney, and then we out through Wollongong to the coast and spent the night in Eden. The following day we crossed the border and we were in Victoria. the back of our home state. We weren't too far away from home at all. Got the Blue Mountains, that's a look out at Katoomba. It's a beautiful place. Well worth putting on your list if you're travelling around Australia. Go up and have a look and spend days up there. Ready to go off road the next day. Looking for my nephew Ben. About 10 kilometres of dirt road before we could find him. We got there and it was pretty hard case. Big old goanna getting swooped by a magpie. In the springtime, magpies can be pretty dangerous in Australia, and he was tormenting this goanna. But then again, the goanna will climb the trees and take your eggs as well, so he probably had good cause to send him on his way. The goannas, you got to watch out from the when they're frightened, they'll run up a tree to hide, and they'll basically run up anything. So if you corner one, it'll charge you and it'll run right up your legs. They've got big claws, they'll just rip you to shreds. So they reckon the goanna just won't ever charge you to lay down, it'll run straight over the top of you. I've never tested that theory though, never wanted to get that close. But yeah, we were back in Victoria, and it was pretty much just town after town from there. We got down and we spent our last night in Can River, which is about 350 kilometres from home. And it was a pretty quiet night, that one. I think we were both a bit sad that the trip was looking like it was over, and we could have extended it by another couple of days and gone down around Phillip Island and Wilson's Promontory and had a look around there. But my bike decided to have a charging issue, and all the warning lights come on, the engine light and everything come on, and I had a look at the code on the bike, and definitely a charging issue. So the bike started okay. The morning we left from Can River, but we stopped in Barnsdale for fuel, and it wouldn't start. Battery was dead flat. I had a little jumper pack, so basically it was a 300 kilometre sprint home from there. I got the bike going, and I had to keep the revs up and keep it going. So my goodbye to Owen was basically just a wave as he turned off to head out towards his place, and I got home at about 300 kilometres worth of range. We had 300 kilometres to go. I had to keep the bike revving to get it there, and I got home and the bike basically just conked out at the gate. So I don't know if it was the battery or the fuel to start with, but it turned out it was a stator problem, and she's all fixed up now. And that was the end of our trip. 5.5 weeks, 16,500 kilometres. 37 days was definitely the trip of a lifetime. Something that Alan and I will never forget. Started off with 0 degrees and frost, and it was 37 degrees all the way across the top of Australia. We've seen camels, wild horses, buffalo, went croc spotting, rode through the Danetrees, Kakadu, the Pilbara. Just so many amazing places. Everybody should do this in their lifetime. You've got to do it. Anyway, tune in, subscribe on YouTube, Chasing TC, and watch out for my next big adventure.